Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are in Inmates to Entrepreneurs 8-week course. Tonight is week 7. So just a couple of things before we get started. I've literally got 7 people in my inbox who are having trouble logging into Zoom. So if Zoom kicks you or we freeze, you can't hear us, the easiest way to troubleshoot is just exit the meeting and come back. A ton of people are having issues. I don't know what's happening, so I apologize if you also are experiencing issues, but please know there's nothing that we can do about it on our end. It is a Zoom issue, so I apologize in advance if anything happens there. That said, we will have a smaller class because, like I said, I've got 7 people right now who just can't even get into the meeting. So it is a smaller class. The good news is tonight is just a recap night, so there's no new content. We're just going to be covering some of the highlights from the previous weeks. You should have received in the recap email last week a link to an end of course survey. If you complete the end of course survey, I will send you a certificate of completion, as well as if you indicated any industry reports that you're interested in, I will include that in there as well. So I will also include the end of course survey link in the recap that will go to you tomorrow. So if you missed it or you can't find it, please know it will be there tomorrow as well. We do always, so tonight's week 7, next week is week 8. That is our last week together. It is our graduation night. We do like to have graduates speak at graduation if they're interested. Typically, we have 2 to 3 graduates. They talk, 3 to 5 minutes or so just about their business. They do their elevator pitch, things you may have gotten from the class, or just general like words of wisdom and advice and encouragement for the rest of the class. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know. You can throw it in the chat, you can email me, you can respond to the recap tomorrow. Whatever it looks like, we'd love to have you kind of share more about your experience if that's something you're interested in. If not, I'm not going to force anyone to do it. I know we all have different comfort levels on that. So if you're interested, let me know. If not, no worries at all. Sorry, I'm checking my notes. The only other thing I have, we do have Brandon Lowry and Ken McCoy back with us this evening. Brandon is going to be in and out. So I'm going to ask you if you're available to kind of help me just lead class tonight, because it is just a recap. I don't expect class to go the full hour and a half. The first half of slides, we're just going to recap some important highlights from the last, 6 weeks before this. And then the second half of our PowerPoint is literally a list of resources. I reached out to all of our instructors, and these were the resources they said they go back to time and time again, that they use: templates, videos, inspirational quotes, books, whatever. So if I were everyone on the call, I would wait until the recap tomorrow, and then you can pull up the PowerPoint and it will have all those resources listed. You can certainly try and copy them down tonight, but there are a lot. So all that's to say, you will get that in the recap. Don't worry if you missed something. And I would definitely take advantage of asking questions tonight, just because it is kind of our last night together. That's not a graduation ceremony. So Ken, I'm going to make you and Brandon co-host, but I don't know that Brandon's actually going to be able to join us. But I'm right here with you. Like I said, it's just the recap. But if you could just remind us who you are, tell us more about your story, and then when you're ready for the PowerPoint, just let me know.
And I'm up here, Allie.
Okay.
So
great.
at the moment I'm in a good service area, but I am here. So if you do need me, Ken, I will be jumping in and out. I just don't want to be in a bad service area and then you can't hear what I'm saying. So
Yes, I got you. First off, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. My name is Ken McCoy. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I am a native of New Orleans, Louisiana. I came to Florida with Hurricane Katrina, and I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. So I'm currently working in reentry and retention with Operation New Hope, which is a reentry program here in Jacksonville. And I'm so glad to have been a multiple graduate of this cohort, because it's every time you learn something new. I'm always open for new learning, and with everybody that's participating, that's how you learn and you grow your knowledge base. I'm also the owner of Magic Touch Clutch, which is an online fashion boutique for men, women, and kids. And I'm so glad to be a instructor as well for this particular cohort and beyond. I'm thankful for being here. So
Perfect. Thank you, Ken. And thank you, Brandon, for letting us know that you can pop in and out. So what I'll do, if anybody would like to share their elevator pitch, we will take volunteers. I know not everybody likes to do it, so we're not gonna force you to, but it is kind of our last time together. So it's a great way to get kind of that last bit of feedback from our instructors. If you're interested, you can throw your name in the chat. You can raise your hand, whatever you want to do. Again, we're not going to force you to, but it is our last opportunity together. So I would definitely take advantage if you're interested. And Ken, what I can do is I can go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint slides. And then if people warm up and want to do it in a little bit, we can certainly like revisit if that works for you.
sure, that works fine.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up on my other screen.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm thankful. Go ahead, Ben.
While Allie's doing that, the elevator pitch is very important. It does show a brief glimpse of your knowledge of what you're promoting, what you're selling, what your service is. That is where you give your customer the first glimpse of your confidence in your business, because a lot of customers can tell about how you introduce yourself and introduce your business, your confidence level in that. So being able to practice that as much as possible, either on here with friends and family, to where you're more comfortable on relaying your information on the service that you provide and showing that confidence and that understanding of what you're doing, what you're selling, or the service that you're providing is very key to try to get that down packed as soon as possible. Because in the beginning of my I started with the landscaping, I would bumble, not really sure, and I lost a couple of people because I didn't have that confidence in the beginning on what I was actually providing. So just practicing that is very key.
Thanks, Brandon. Let's see. Thanks, Brandon, for that. Because I mean, you not only are aware of what you're going to say to yourself as you're building that confidence, but what you're saying to others too. I like that. We look at these 6 to 7 weeks that we have been together. We want to look at the recap. You know, if we rewind our tapes back to week number 1 as an intro, some of us may have just been, this is our new forte to business. Some people have been in business before. Wherever you are on your spectrum, that mindset matters. Not just to get started, but the dedication that it takes, the fortitude, even what you've seen over yourself these 6 or 7 weeks. These adaptable skills that you learn as an entrepreneur, they take more shape than one in your personal life and definitely in your business life. Resilience. You know, we talked about bootstrapping, $1,000 or less, $500 or less. Business is for everyone. We live in an entrepreneurial nation where you don't have to be perfect to start. You could ask ChatGPT. It can give you a lot of the answers before you get started. A lot of times, you think you have to have a whole pile of money, a whole big amount of money, but you know, when you're thinking about $1,000 or less, it's enough to get started. And from an intro standpoint, that mind frame is, you know, doing, you know, every company nowadays is thinking about going lean, you know, and how could they do more with less? So as an entrepreneur, in the introduction, in the beginning, that's one of the things that you want to think about starting off. What are some barriers to starting off and minimizing those? Any chip in for week 1 or mindset, Brandon? Getting started or just initiative
Yeah,
and an
Ken.
introduction standpoint?
Yeah. The only The only thing that on here that sticks out to me that I feel we should probably tweak or add to is
Mhm.
the the businesses for everyone part, because some people are just good at one thing, and they struggle when, especially in the beginning, you have to wear many hats, so you have to play a bunch of different roles, and the role of the company or the role that may get you into it is only one part of it.
Mhm.
So it may be a little difficult to run the whole business on your own. Um, but if you do start at a spot to where you're $1,000, $500 less, and you can kind of start small, testing things out, making sure that this is for you, um, because business gets hard. A lot of things may not go right in the beginning, but if you start small, leave room for error, leave room for growth, you can grow into a business owner, because it's running a business as far as you're doing the day to day, and then owning a business, those are two different positions. Running the business is the person that is actually doing the service or performing the products or creating the products and things like that. But then the person that owns the business, he does not do the day to day. He's thinking about growth. He's scaling. It's a totally different position. The things that pique his interest will not pique his interest anymore, or doesn't pique his interest anymore if he's not performing the services. Just like, for instance, I'm transitioning into business owner. So I'm thinking about a constant flow of revenue. So I may take on a dealership at a lower amount just to have cash flow. But when I was actually performing the services, I wouldn't take a lower amount because I'm not thinking about cash flow. I'm thinking about money that needs to be paid this month. I'm thinking about stuff I need to do today. So you have a different mindset when you go from owner to operator, or from operator to owner. So if you're a business minded person and that is the main goal, then yes, business for is for you. But if you're a person that is more or less in the, like, wanting to be in the service, you find the passion in the service, not in having multiple employees or scaling to a big level, then it's a little bit different. I'm hoping I'm explaining this correctly, but that part, as far as businesses for everyone, I don't agree with that. Not 100% that business is for everyone, because some people can be the greatest employee possible because they got this one niche that they can do and they've mastered over and over again. But then you add in all these other things that business has, it takes away from that niche that they're so good at. So I hope I explained that correctly.
Oh, you did. It gives us a lot to think about, especially if you're starting off initially and you're thinking about bringing on teams. That takes us into any feedback from the crowd or any questions on week one from the crowd in the chat. All right. How about week two? Marketing, getting out there, getting to know your customer, different types of customers that may pursue your business, thought patterns that you hadn't thought about. Um, Personas help you stop guessing and start targeting. Thinking about the style of customer you have, what are some of their constraints, their complaint points, what problem do you solve as providing a service or a product for them. They may not know you exist. So how do you get your name into their ears and eyes? Digital versus traditional, using a blend of what works. If you have to teach yourself digital trends, and still use the footprint from the traditional trends. Use what works. Focus on those channels that your audience already uses. Business cards, and nowadays we have everything 24 hours. So even if you have a brick and mortar store and your store closes at a certain time, you have a digital footprint where your website is up, and customers can connect with you that way as well. A smart start. Don't spend big. Test small. Learn fast and iterate. Rinse and repeat. Find what works for you. Try to get as much free or low cost marketing as you can. Word of mouth is always good. Um, Giving, hey, you test markets, finding what marketing works for you. And that last one says, great marketing isn't about a big budget. It's about knowing your people. So I like to think in terms of research and development, you're marketing these target markets that either you have a core initiative to solicit to, and then also the flip side is people who may not know that you exist and you could offer your service or product as an option to them. With everything being so creative nowadays, you can do reels and shorts and things and schedule things in advance to keep marketing on a 24/7 automated basis nowadays. Any feedback from the crowd or questions in marketing? Or Brandon, you have anything?
Um, as far as marketing, like you were saying, it's very easy to to do it nowadays with the just like you said, like Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff like that. But
Mhm.
knowing your target audience, like you said before, that is very key. That's how you can make sure the money that you are spending, even how big or how small it is going exactly where it needs to go, so it's not being wasted. So taking that time to really target and understand the people that want to take advantage of your service or your product is very important in marketing.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, I know a lot of times when we think about customers that we don't have yet, or how do we market to people that haven't met us yet? That takes us to like I think we can go to the next slide, Aaron. Week 3, customer acquisition. Having customers, having sales. Sales is about the service. What solution do you offer to them? Also, not about pushing, it's about solving that problem. I think from the entrepreneurial side of that opportunity, we have to have that vision to think about what needs could we help a customer solve, and set up operations on our end so that we are good at what we're able to do. If you're a one person operation at the moment and you working with time management, or you're working with multiple scheduling, making sure that you set up efficiencies within your own time plan, those 24 hours, that you're able to deliver what you are asked to promise them. Um, don't neglect a complaint. From what I learned, is that timeliness is key. It's a gift. It's a gift to you. You have a research and development umbrella that's always on. So I remember in the olden days where you had to make a complaint and you put it in the box at the table you were on, or you dropped it in at the door as you left out the place. But now you can be online and scan a person's QR code and give them a bum wrap in the line. So now a lot of times we take those lemons and make lemonade with them. Handle feedback professionally and timely. And every time you try to make a touch point, it's a chance to rebuild the trust. How could you make things right? I apologize for having this experience. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. How could we make this right? So gaining a customer is big, but also customer retention, keeping that customer coming back for more, is a big push on the back end too. Any feedback? Customer acquisition. Any feedback, anybody? Okay. All right, we look at week 4, that financial fundamentals. So think about where you are, your personal, tracking your numbers, what you know about your numbers, tracking that income, those expenses, and cash flow weekly. Being up on it every week is a good thing so that you can see where you might have some bottlenecks that might come in payroll or marketing or other variable expenses that you may not have counted for. So the earlier you see it, the better. Tracking the income, the expenses, and your cash flow weekly. Starting out simple, separate your personal and your business finances, keep them separate. You don't want to be blending those things, and keeping QuickBooks or spreadsheets are fine, even if you start with a sheet of paper and keeping everything separated till you graduate to that professional point, but make sure you separate them. Avoid the traps of the credit card debt and over financing. I heard loans last week, but also just poor money habits personally. Some of those poor money habits as you as a person may bleed over into your business, but knowing that you have to keep both of those lanes separate, those are improvable areas that you always want to be mindful of. And that leads us to a sense of financial discipline. It's not just to help you survive in your daily quest to maintain your personal life, but it'll kill your business just as fast. So financial discipline is survival and not just the success of you seeing customers, but the back end of keeping your numbers together. There's a lot of software out there that you could use that you'll see on the back end in the appendix that will give you some content about keeping up with your numbers. Okay, any questions for week 4 or week 3? All right, Allie, I think we could go to the next slide. Hiring and leadership, week 5. Main thing, hire slowly, fire quickly. It only takes one, and it don't take a lot of time. Know when you're ready. Well, when you outgrow yourself or being able to handle things, it may be time to hire somebody or delegate a task to someone that hopefully shares the same values first, and then skills that they may or may not possess, you can teach them because you want them to line up with how you would do it, even though it's a separate person doing it. You will want them to line up skills wise on how you would do it. So that's good training. Lead with clarity and consistency. Good leadership is teachable. And sometimes we tend to forget when we hear the word leadership, that doesn't just mean leading someone, a separate person, but self-leadership is a big part of that too. The structure matters. Onboarding, have everything in writing, make sure it's clear. Get feedback from the person or persons that you're bringing on, especially making sure that they align with your values of the business. And you're going to bring 110% of your business culture to the table every day as the business owner. And hopefully those employees will become a part of that team that'll support that vision. So making sure that hiring, it's an art form. It's not one size fits all, but make sure that you follow those tips to get the type of team member that you need to carry on the values in your business. Any feedback from the crowd for week 5? Anybody that has employees currently that any of this resonates with? Anybody in the chat? Okay. All right. Week 6, growth and innovation. That brought us a lot content. Growing organically. We mentioned not having to pay for likes. Debt-fueled expansion, the haste of wanting to grow fast, or might be biting off more than you can chew. But growing smart, having organic, direct growth to your business is better than debt-fueled expansion. That way you don't have to absorb a lot of that cost. Also, testing and learning and evolving personally. Also, products, software, things that'll help amplify your business, get your business out there. Prototypes, test runs, test groups, customer feedback, surveys. These are things that are way better than you just thinking it was good, or that somebody didn't have a complaint and you didn't give them an option to share something with you to help them get it resolved. Building repeatable systems that are teachable and having checklists and processes that make scaling possible. So, simplify the processes enough so that somebody can come behind you and understand exactly what you're doing, what training styles work for each employee, things that personality traits. These are repeatable systems that you can understand and employ in that growth and innovation. Innovate with intention. Sometimes you have an invention or you have an idea that's a one of a kind, or sometimes you're not reinventing the wheel. You're doing things that someone else may do, but you have to put your personal spin on it, stay grounded in that customer experience. You're starting off. If you do have a current customer base, grow that and be innovative with using the tools now, but be intentional, with your time and with the styles of expansion that you're looking for to grow your customer base with. Any feedback for week 6? We're going into a new year, 2026, thinking innovatively about how you could attack the year with marketing strategies. It's a great way to look at week 6 as well. Any feedback from the crew? Okay. Brandon, you have anything on any weeks or anything that we covered?
No,
Or if I don't know.
not really. I was trying to wait till I got some more bars because I
Okay,
had
cool.
switched locations, but no. All I can ask is, since we've went through all those recaps, are there any questions about anything pertaining to stuff that we went over or stuff that is going on like right now today type thing, like that you might have a question about or want some feedback on that wasn't covered in any of these slides, like real time stuff?
I don't see anything in the chat, but Brandon and Ken, what I can do is I'll just keep my eye on it, and if I see anything come in, I'll flag it for both of you.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Okay, folks, we look at what happens now. Building a business profile through Google. If you don't already have one, set one up for yourself. It's free. It helps get you exposed to the world of business profiles. And also, if you're already on social media recreationally, consider establishing a business page for your business that is separate from your personal page, and promote that separately as a business. Launch on social media, see which one works for you, which one you feel more comfortable with, or try them all. Also, the peer networking group side of this is a great way to digitally network with people who you may not have known otherwise. With social networking, the miles don't matter anymore. A person can be in Oregon and it can be online. It's like we are now. Everybody is online in different cities. So one of the great things about joining a peer group, content that group provides daily or however often they do it, you're a part of that, and that doesn't cost you anything but time and attention and joining. And lastly, do yourself a favor, self-included. Set a 30-day time limit and work backwards. Great, Cherry. I saw that podcast, and we talk about setting goals 30 days or less. Say, hey, I will do this, or I will complete these goals in 30 days or less, and work from 4 weeks backwards. Play a time management game with yourself so that you can set goals and see those little progresses happen every week. Because otherwise, you got to have something to really drag you into doing it. And being an entrepreneur, you don't want as much personal drudgery as you could avoid. So just make sure you have these goals that are SMART goals. I don't know if we covered that or this cohort with SMART goals, but being able to measure them on an incremental basis in a 30-day window is a good way to see yourself month to month and check on everything weekly, as we talked about earlier.
Hey, Ken, I just got a DM. Someone said, can you explain what a SMART goal is?
Oh, great. Thank you. SMART goals, when you look at it, you think about, okay, well, I set a goal. I just said I wanted to do something. But, SMART goal is basically an acronym, and it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And that gives you 5 frameworks to work from. Because if you say, hey, I want to control my finances as a goal, it's too vague. It just doesn't have any connection to it. It's a great idea, but it's not a goal. So if you specifically measure that in an achievable way that's relevant to the pace at which you can connect, and then time bound yourself to it. When you pull up SMART goals in another tab, you'll see those 5 acronyms broken down like that. And depending on the graphic that you're looking at, it'll be under goal setting, it'll be under time management. But having goals, you hear goal setting and SMART goals a lot hand in hand, because it gives you this 5-prong approach to break down the likelihood of you actually completing that goal by going through these things, being specific about it, measuring it, and something that's achievable and obtainable, and it's relevant, and it's time bound.
Yeah, and that's a very good thing to do in all aspects of your life. Setting goals, just like we said, we want to be able to work backwards. I tell everyone you should have a really big goal, and then break it down into yearly goals, break it down into monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals, so that each and every day that you wake up, goals help you dictate the decisions and the choices that you make daily. If you don't have any goals, or if you're not working towards something, you don't know if you should do certain things throughout the day that may mess up that big goal. Just like I have a friend that is he's going through something, and he has this court date or something for his immigration, and his goal is to be able to, from now to 2027, go through school, so when he goes to this, he can show why he's been in the country, he's accomplished these things. And I tell him, you run every little decision that you make each and every day through that filter of that court date, because you don't want to jeopardize anything that may mess up that. So just like the goals that we set, when I talk to someone, if I'm even hiring them for an employee, or going into business with them, or just conversating with the youth in our church or at the centers that we go to, what are your goals? If you don't have any goals, I can guarantee you that your day to day has no direction, because you haven't aligned yourself with any structure or any boundaries. Your goals are boundaries for you that you can set to where I'm trying to get here. So I know I can't do this because that may mess that up, or that doesn't help that. Or I can do this because this helps where I'm trying to get to. So setting goals in every part of your life, relationships, business, religion, like you should have a goal for every family life. You should have a goal set for all those areas of your life, so it's more structured. Where we're coming from, just like incarceration, it's a structured thing. You're limited to certain things, but there's so much you can do within that limitation. So if you set your own limits, once you get out, instead of just like, oh, I'm free, and you go willy dilly all throughout the day and you have no real structure to where you're going and no real, what I'm saying, angle or line to follow, then there's no telling what you may get into. But if you have structure, you have a goal, I need to meet this. So I know I need to do XYZ each and every day. That helps you, just like the self leadership. Goals help in self leadership.
Any other feedback from that takeaway? Thanks, Brandon. You look at the recap. Um, ask yourself what's one thing you've already started doing differently. Um, if you've had other courses, if you've added additional knowledge, if you try to do something and it's working, ask yourself what have you done that's already working or that you started doing differently, and that is a success in itself. Um, and also ask yourself which week's topic challenged you the most and why. We went through the six, but if you look at yourself personally in terms of what um, mutual benefits you may have gotten from the information and what has helped you see, what new tips or trade skills that you've learned that challenge you the most and why. I like to hear that too. And also, if you had to teach one thing from this course to a friend, a person that's not here, that's the good thing about it. When you have a person that gets feedback from you and you learn something that you could teach to them, what would it be? Think about your courses of action up until this point. It's been 6 weeks, 7 weeks. If your very beginning was week one and you were just getting started, you have 6 weeks of success. Every business begins with getting started and having action, taking one step forward this week. Rather you take a small foot in the right direction than stay really comfortable and let a whole nother week, a month go by and hadn't got started. Even a small step works. So just think in big terms, but starting small where you're able to make small mistakes that are not as costly and learn from them. Creating those processes that work for you so that you're not always reinventing the wheel, or if you have to escalate up and train someone, they can be efficient for them to pull and learn from a natural way of you doing things. Knowing that it's always about your customer. We hear the cliche with the customer's always right. I like to add a word in there. The customer's needs are always right. Sometimes how they come at you might not be the best way for you to feel it right, but we have to solve it the most professional and timely way. Making mistakes is okay. Um, if you not making mistakes, you may not be trying hard enough because you're gonna make some mistakes, and it's okay to make those mistakes till you get everything fine tuned. Um, but as Wayne Gretzky says, you make 100% of the shots that you don't take, so you never can score a goal if you never take a shot. So take a risk on yourself. You did that 6 weeks ago. I'm proud of each and every one of you on the call. But also, once this cohort ends, and then that does not stop your learning. So look at this screen and understand that what some of the things that you've already done differently. That's a commendable aspect. What topic or topics challenge you the most and why? And also, if you had to teach one thing from this course to a friend, what would it be? And what action have you started that you could appreciate to see that consistency down the line leading into the new year? That's great class questions to ask yourself as you're going through, reminding yourself what you've learned and also how much we have yet to learn, each as individual business owners and collectively now as alumni. So I just want to put that out there and following up to the screen. Any feedback? Any questions on that? when we look at an inmate's success, the path that it takes to come from pre-release, post-release, back to society and winning again, that's what this whole initiative is about. Um, I've never met Brian Hamilton yet, but I would think that he thinks in terms of a post-success and presenting this as a guide to help individuals who have been judicially involved on their path to becoming successful entrepreneurs. It's very fortunate that we have this as an alumni support system from like-minded individuals that'll help us in this way. By exploring the key traits and benefits of entrepreneurship, as well as practical steps for starting and growing a business, this course provides a comprehensive roadmap for those seeking to create their own paths to success. One of the things I like about it is the recap side, because even if you miss a day or if you're not in real live session with it, you can definitely count on Allie to give us the support we have for that and go back and look at those old videos. That's the good thing about having a straightforward path that you've gained over these 8 weeks. It's set in success. You're working it and stirring it every day based on your consistency. And most of the times, the person's path is not appreciative from an alumni support such as this. So I thank inmates and entrepreneurs, everybody involved with that. Any feedback on that? Any post-release? Oh, I'm sorry, Harry. You good? I didn't know if we had any feedback.
Okay, so the next couple of slides are what I was talking about at the very beginning of class, where the first half was a recap and the second half are additional slides. So tomorrow when you get the recap, you will have a copy of the PowerPoint. You should be able to scroll through the PowerPoint and then you can click on each of these links and they will open up. So if you look at the accounting software, if you're interested in QuickBooks, so just click QuickBooks and it will open up the screen. So this appendix is all additional resources. A lot of these we talked about throughout the last few weeks, but these are just the big ones that kept coming up and up again multiple times. So we wanted to put those in the appendix for all of you. Moving on, there's a whole section of just templates. So everything from business plans to NDAs for, potential partners. We have employee handbooks, income statements, kind of every sort of template that we talked about is there. Ways to get paid. There were a lot that we discussed and the benefits, the pros and cons of each. So they are all listed as well. Again, website creation, and then workplace psychology, that has more to do with, hiring people and are they the right fit for your business and how are you as a leader? So if you're interested in the psychological components of leadership and having employees, I would definitely check out those workplace psychology links. And then moving on, these are not linked. So if you're interested in any of these, just copy, paste it, Google it. These are all of our instructors' favorite resources. So a lot of these are books, they're podcasts, they're YouTube videos. These are all just resources that every single instructor has said, this is something that I turn to when I need help or inspiration or motivation. So it's kind of like a greatest hits of, whatever our instructors felt was relevant for all of you. I won't go through the list because there's just a ton and you will have this in the recap. But there's stuff on sales and marketing, there's customer service, there's finance and operations information. There's some branding and content creators who can help you learn better practices for branding and content creation. And then there's a bunch of different thought leaders that our instructors pulled together. Let's see. Oh, that's actually the last slide. So I'm going to stop sharing. Does anyone, I know, so this is our last week together. That is not a graduation ceremony. So does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? You want to share your elevator pitch? We have both Ken and Brandon on with us. Kind of the floor is yours. Obviously, we're not going to force you to say anything, but if you do have something on your mind, please share. Please let us know. And while I'll give people some time to maybe type in the chat if they have anything. I mentioned at the beginning of the class, but we had a few people join us since then. Tomorrow you will get the recap email from me. In the recap, it will be highlighted in yellow. You really can't miss it. It is the end of course survey. Once you complete the end of course survey, I will send you a certificate of completion. That end of course survey also asks if you're interested in receiving industry reports for your specific industry and or your specific area. The program that we use gives us local data as long as they are larger cities. So if you're in a very rural area, we may not be able to pull your specific area, but I can generally give you like your state or the largest city near you or something like that. So that will let us know if you complete the survey and you're interested in industry report, I will send that to you as well. If you're interested in speaking at graduation, you can throw it in the chat, you can email me, you can respond to the recap. Again, we're looking for, typically we have 2 to 3. I will take as many people as want to talk. Sometimes nobody wants to talk, and that's okay as well. We will hear from Claudia Shivers. She is one of the board members from Inmates Entrepreneurs. She is just a fabulous person, but she has experience being judicially involved. She started her own coffee roastery, now owns a brick and mortar coffee store. So she very much walks the walk as well as she talks the talk. I'm so excited for you guys to hear directly from her and hear her story as well. I see you. Thank you for the comments, everyone. That's very nice. And I'm so happy that we've had all of you join us. Does anybody have any lingering remaining questions? It's 6:50, so we've got 6:50 Eastern, but does anybody have any remaining anything? Okay, I don't see anything. If you think of something, email me, let me know. You can also, I think Ken will be back with us next week for graduation. Claudia will be with us for graduation, so you are welcome to ask some questions directly at graduation as well. JJ, we'd love to see your bus. Do you have like a link or something you can share? Or are you in your butt? Do you want to come off mute, whatever you want to do, JJ, let me know. You're in it. Okay. Let me unmute you, and then you should be able to unmute yourself.
Thanks, Demetrius. Thank you too.
Hey everybody.
Get a chance to see the bus.
Oh wow.
So hello,
Sir.
I'm JJ and We Lit Entertainment. This is one of my party buses here. Got the couches in it. This is my player bus, is what they call it. Got 4 TV screens here. It's got a bathroom in it. Karaoke machine. It's Sing Your Heart Out back here.
Dope.
And then we got screens everywhere. This will be my over the road bus. So this is We Lit Entertainment right here.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. It looks like something a bachelorette party I've been to would want to hire. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's amazing to see in real time your business. So thank you for that, JJ. I did see a question from Cherry. She said, will you still be able to reach us after class? Yes. So if you have questions about your business or anything you need from us generally, please reach out. You have my email. If it's a business specific question, I will reach out to our instructors. I will have one of them answer it. If it's something that I can answer or get for you, I will do so. So please make sure you reach out that way as well. Let's see. I don't see any other questions. Like I said, you can ask questions whenever you need. Please reach out if you think of anything after this call ends. I will send you the recap tomorrow. Otherwise, I want to thank you both to Brandon and Ken for being here tonight. We could not be here without you. We appreciate you volunteering your time and your expertise with us. I'm so appreciative of both of you. And then thank all of you for being with us for 8 weeks. That is no small feat. 8 weeks, it doesn't sound like a lot. And then you're here sometimes and you're like, man, 8 weeks is a lot. So I appreciate you all hanging out with us, letting us get to know you and get to know more about your business. Complete your end of course surveys, and we will see you all at graduation next week. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.